Hi, everyone. My name's Bram, and today I'm going to be taking you through an application I created called Lesson Link. So this project was created in a 10-day sprint as my final capstone project for devCodeCamp, which is a software development training program I just went through. So technologies used here on the front end, we have React.js, utilizing a lot of React hooks. Started with some Bootstrap as well as my own CSS. And on the back end, we have an ASP.NET Core backend connected to an MS SQL database, which worked out really well for some of the features that I had to use that involved a lot of junction tables and many-to-many relationships. That was really nice with ASP.NET. And we also have some integration with the Google Calendar API, which I'm super pumped to talk about. So I'm coming from a background as a musician, music teacher, just general music guy. And one of the things I used to do was teach private lessons. And when you have a private lesson studio of 30 to 40 students, young students, it becomes a lot to manage. You have scheduling to deal with all of those students, 30 or 40 lessons a week, can get crazy. Just keeping track of payments for all those students, and just making sure everybody's, where they're supposed to be payment wise, and making sure you have clear assignments for the student, because essentially when you're teaching private lessons, you have a separate curriculum for each student. So for both the student and the teacher, it can become difficult to just remember what you're working on. Like, what did I do with little Susie last week? Since I've had 30 lessons since then, I can't honestly remember what she was working on. So my goal here was to make an application that can make all those things easier, to make it easier for the teacher to stay organized, and then easier to hold the student accountable, because there are clear records of, here's when our lesson is, here's how much you owe, here are your payment records, here are your assignments for next week, right? So that all that stuff is all in one place with Lesson Link. It would have been a really nice tool to have as a former teacher. So let's dig into the application itself. So over here we have Lesson Link. Our landing page here for an anonymous user. If we just check out the registration really quick, so immediately we're going to select if we're a student or teacher. If we're a student, we have all our usual registration fields, as well as some parent contact information. Important for your teacher to have that. If you're a teacher, similar fields here, but we can enter our preferred method of contact, so how we prefer a student to contact us. So we're going to go ahead and log in as a teacher that I've already kind of set up here. So we're logging in. So we log in and we see our student view. So here are all of my students that I've registered in Lesson Link. So if I needed to add a student, I would have them, if I picked up a new student in my lesson studio, I would have them create an account on Lesson Link, and then I would just go up here and say it's Timmy Smith that I need to add, and there we go. So Timmy Smith is here. I've got a relationship with Timmy Smith now, and he's added to my view of students. So let's check out each student here. So if we look at Susie Q, we can see we've got her contact information, her parent contact information, her outstanding balance, which we'll get to a little bit later, see how much money she owes me. That's always very convenient. And then we can also upload files for Susie. So we can see files I've uploaded in the past. If I want to give Susie a piece of sheet music to work on, or maybe I want to give her an audio recording to reference as she's practicing, I can do that all through Lesson Link. I can upload that file. We can see it was uploaded here. And Susie will be able to download that file as well. So that's super convenient for both the student and teacher to have that kind of organization and file sharing there. So let's go over to the schedule view. So in our schedule view, we've got our schedule of lessons. We've got a nice graphical calendar here. We can see I've got weekly lessons with Jason and Allison. It looks like I've got a lesson with Susie today. So just a couple different options here. We've got this nice table here that just organizes our lessons in kind of chronological order, or we have this nice calendar with day, week, and month view. So we can see up here we have a lesson with Susie today at 5 o'clock, ending at 5:30, fee amount of $25. So let's say we have that lesson with Susie, or even before that, let's say Susie's lesson is coming up and I can't for the life of me remember what Susie and I worked on last week, because I've had a million lessons since then. So I can either go find it on the calendar. My last lesson with Susie was here. Or if I'm even in the student view, we can go to her past lessons and just the most recent one. I can see that I left her comments to work on her paradiddles. I'm a drummer, by the way, so that's a drummer term. So I left her some comments to work on her paradiddles. And now my memory is jogged. I can remember okay, I've got this lesson with Susie today, and I remember that we worked on paradigms last time. So super convenient for both the student and the teacher to be able to just have that reference and have that kind of accountability. So if we did have the lesson with Susie, I can go in and edit the lesson sheet. Maybe we worked on flams today, so work on flams. It's another drummer term. So I want to leave her that comment for next week, that assignment. I can say she attended the lesson, and then if I want to charge the fee, because we had the lesson, she owes me $25. I'll submit that. We can see that that has been updated. Comments are there. Go back to the student view, and we'll notice that Susie's balance is now $50. I added that $25 fee. So all of those records are there now. I guess it's still in the scheduled lessons because I'm recording this today before 5 p.m. But we can see that record of that lesson, so we can always reference those comments. So let's say in that lesson we had with Susie today, she brought in a payment. Maybe she brought in a payment of $100 to get her paid up for 4 lessons. So we've got our records of past payments here, but let's go in here. We can say Susie. Maybe she brought a check from a parent. She brought $100. So we'll submit that. We can see the record of that payment, which we can undo or just remove the record if we need to, if there was any problem with it and we wanted to re-enter. Go back to students, and now she has an outstanding balance of -50. In other words, a credit of $50. Because she owed 50, she paid 100, now she has a credit of $50. So all of that record keeping, all that payment tracking is all built in the app, and just really easy to see student by student who owes me what and where everybody's at. So really convenient there. And then lastly, if we want to, of course, schedule a lesson, so maybe we just had our lesson with Susie, and Susie likes to schedule 1 lesson at a time. She doesn't like commitment. So we're only doing 1 lesson at a time instead of like a weekly recurring thing. So we'll just go next Thursday at 3:30, or sorry, 3 to 3:30. Obviously I can make it weekly if I want to, but Susie doesn't roll that way. I can enter the location if I need to. I can enter some comments, which I'll be able to edit later, but I don't need any comments before the lesson happens. I charge $25. And really great here, we can check this box and we can add it to my Google Calendar. So when I hit submit here, we'll see this Google authorization box come up. If I hadn't already signed into Google, and that box would have prompted me to sign into Google, but I've already signed in. So here it is on our Google Calendar, our lesson with Susie Q. If we go back to lesson link, we're back at our student view. If for some reason I needed to cancel that lesson that I just scheduled, I can go in here and delete that. It's going to remind me this is also going to delete associated Google Calendar events, which is exactly what I want. So we get our Google authorization again. Google event has been removed. We can go back here and it's gone, my Google Calendar. So that's really great to have that option as a teacher to sync it up with your Google Calendar, though. I like to point out that you don't really need to, because this has a fully functioning and very easy to use calendar built into Lesson Link. So if you want just all your lesson stuff only to exist on Lesson Link, you can do that. If you want to sync it with Google Calendar, you can as well. So that's our teacher side. Let's jump over to Susie's account really quick to see that side of it. So we've got our student account here. Notice that Susie has 2 teachers. So maybe Jeremy Thompson is her drum teacher. That's the account we were just looking at. Maybe Dylan Bram, which is me. Maybe I'm her piano teacher. So she can have those separate relationships with as many teachers as she needs to. So again, she has access to the records of past lessons. She can go here and see that she was told to work on her paradiddles, so she can work on her paradiddles. She can see that she has scheduled lessons coming up on August 5th, and also downloaded her file. So if you remember, we just uploaded this for Susie. We can grab that and download it. And there's that piece of music for her. She has the same kind of schedule view. So she can see she has a lesson today. She can see all that information. She's got the ability to scroll back through her past lessons as well, use these as links. Super convenient there. And then lastly, she can see her payment records. So we can see that $100 payment that Susie brought in to Mr. Thompson today. She's got record of it here. They both have access to that. And she can also see that she has that credit of $50 with Mr. Thompson. So that's Lesson Link. I'm really excited about it. I definitely plan to keep playing around with it. One thing that I had experimented with a little bit was the ability of students to make payments through the app itself, because obviously they have a way to keep records of those, but wouldn't it be great if a student could just pay their teacher directly through the app? So there is I've got some some stuff set up for that with the Stripe payment API kind of going on in the back end. But as I keep working on it, it'd be great if I could get that working and have a student be able to pay their teacher. So that's something I'm looking forward to. But other than that, I'm really happy with it, and really relieved that the 10-day sprint is over. It was a pretty intense 10 days. But yeah, thanks for watching the whole video. If you have any questions about it or want to talk about it, I am excited about it and would love to chat more about it. So please reach out. Thanks.